Welcome to Thundersport Plus and round 5 of the Thundersport GB Championships. We've travelled to the northwest of England to Oulton Park following 4 classes from the series. But before we get started, let's catch up with Steve Day on the grid.
Yeah, thanks very much, Grace. Well, I'm on the grid here at Oulton Park. A bit of rain overnight has left us with a greasy circuit. We're expecting maybe a few showers later on, but we have an additional race in our programme for you today on Motors TV, and it's the Adam Boal Trophy in memory of Adam, who sadly here last year, he raced on the Saturday and then on Sunday tragically lost his life in a road accident on his RS125, and there's a trophy in his memory here. We've got a full grid of some superstars ready to win this trophy. It's going to be an annual event here with Thundersport GB, so really looking forward to seeing who can pick up this trophy in his memory. But for now, it's time to get back on the grid, ready for race 1. Yes, the Motodex Performance Pre-National 600s. Here we are on the grid, a championship that at the moment is being dominated by number 4, James Shaw. There's Adam Clark, the reigning Thundersport 500 champion. He's having a decent season so far. He's just trying to get his racecraft back. There's Don Gilbert, number 34. David Brooke is on the front row. We just saw him, number 73. But pole position is for number 4, James Shaw. Keep an eye out for a number of other riders, of course. Paul Westerdale is featured strong in a couple of these races so far. Tim Daisley is back with us on the grid after having problems at Cadwell Park on the test day. And away we go, the lights are out. Can anyone stop James Shaw from clearing off in this championship? But it's a good start from Adam. Adam Clark there has the whole shot into turn 1. Pre-national 600s, I'll remind you, a championship for riders that have not yet attained a national licence. So the majority of them are first-timers for this year, first year of racing. You'll see a few orange bibs out there. Others may have been racing for a couple of years but have just not yet got the signatures to get that national licence, and well, we've stuck them all out on the circuit, and let's see how they get on. And James Shaw at the moment really proving to be a star of this class, and he has the lead now ahead of Clark. It's in 3rd place there, looks to be David Brooke having a decent battle. We've got Ryan Warren and Frank Gallagher to look out for, Will James of course. Asa Webb, look out for Asa. Oh, and we've got a faller there just at the chicane, at Falston chicane, and that looks like Duncan Dunbar. Duncan, who had a big crash back at Donington Park, and he's now, well, he's on his hands and knees, and hopefully he's okay, maybe just a bit winded, but Duncan has fallen. We lost Martin Polak at the first few corners as well. But it's James Shaw that leads from Clark and Brooke, but Clark runs wide. Gilbert's there in 4th place. And Paul Westerdale just a couple of places back. Yeah, I mentioned Asa Webb, Asa number 80, having a decent run out here at Oulton Park. Asa is the brother of Grace, although he has told me that he wants to get himself further up in the grid so that Grace can be known as his sister instead, the other way around. See there a few other riders going through. Jeff Comley's in 11th, Dylan James 12th, ahead of Sonny Martin, and Stevie Elliott's just coming through on the screens here. Number 79, 10-second penalty for a jump start. That is Nick Barnes of Peterborough. So Nick's got a bit of work to do here. At the front, it is James Shaw pulling away from David Brooke. The 2 riders that are 1st and 2nd in the championship. Coming into this event, though, James Shaw had 117-point advantage, and both of their races here this weekend are double points. Shaw pulls away, Brooke there in 2nd, Gilbert in 3rd place, but embroiled in a decent battle with the reigning Thundersport 500 champion Adam Clark. He was a total novice last year, and he went on to win the Thundersport 500s. That is why he's in this class, because he's still not yet got that national licence, but he is doing very well indeed. Further back is number 81, Stevie Elliott of Ayrshire, racing for the Royal Navy. So a number of riders from the various forces out there, the Navy, the Army, and of course the Royal Air Force. They're all battling it out in the Combined Military Services Championship as well, a championship that Tim Daisley was doing very well in until Cadwell Park. Tim at the moment struggling outside the points. There's Paul Westerdale, number 94. Paul from Leicester coming into this event, and it's actually Frank Gallagher that we mentioned a little while ago, number 47. Keep your eyes out. He's leading, coming into Oulton Park. He was leading ahead of Tim Daisley in the Isle of Man Race Product Combined Military Services Championship. Frank is a member of the Navy, Tim a member of the Army, then it's Neil Watson of the Army, and then Steve Kaplan of the RAF. And let me tell you, that is a fiercely competitive championship that's going on there. And we'll keep our eyes on that. For the rest of the season, we've got another faller, and that's a fast part of the circuit. Over up there, out of Island Bend and up towards Shell Oils. Who's that that's come off? Is that Nick Kavanagh, perhaps, who's come off? And, well, hopefully he's okay. There is number 47, just going through ahead of 25. 47, Gallagher, leading the Combined Military Services Championship. And then Josh Hill, number 25, from Sheffield. No, it is not Josh Hill, Damon Hill's son. It is a different Josh Hill. Down into Lodge Corner, James Shaw. Look at the advantage he's got now over Don Gilbert. David Brooke just been pushed back to 3rd place, and Adam Clark now in 4th. And then behind that group, we've got Paul Westerdale, as we see Gilbert coming through on the Sky Blue QED Property Yamaha R6. And there is Clark, number 87, on the Phoenix Race Team Yamaha. Further back, all sorts of battles for the points going on, and almost 3 abreast into the first turn. That's Charlie Oakland, number 19, almost going up the inside of a couple of riders. Asa Webb also, number 80, picking up some vital points, and he's making excellent progress. His lap times coming down quite a bit there. Asa on the Wizard Racing Suzuki. And, well, it is Adam Clark that has it all to do here if he wants to try and keep up and get himself on the podium. Brooke it is that now has 2nd place ahead of Gilbert. Brooke started the season so well at Brands Hatch. I don't think any of us had any idea, or he loses 2nd there. Back to Donna Gilbert. I don't think any of us had any idea just how well James Shaw was going to ride. And we'll have to keep an eye on James, because he also races in the Sportsman Elite 600 Championship, sponsored by the Van Insurer. Also here on Motors TV, there's number 80, Asa Webb, just getting himself on the back of that fight between the likes of Dylan James and Will James. So, bad going at all for Asa. Really a rider that started out in the Aprilia Super Teens, then got onto the 450, started doing really well on the 450, had a few falls, missed a few races. It's an expensive game, this, as the last lap flag comes out. But he's come back here on a 600, and he's improving every single race. James Shaw, though, this is this champion. He could well end up being one of the first Thundersport champions if he keeps on racing like this. The rider from Manchester, just down the road, so this is home circuit. 2nd place still wide open. At the moment, it looks like Brooke might have it ahead of Gilbert and Clark, but anything can happen on this final lap here for the Motodex Pre-National 600s. There is Brooke, number 73, on the black and red Yamaha R6. In fact, all 3 of these bikes Yamahas. Gilbert there in 3rd. Oh, and just out of the seat slightly, and that might have just woken up Adam Clark, and Adam Clark can smell a podium. Further back there, that looks like Josh Hill on the Crossroads Garage machine. I'm not sure, we'll have to find out. That looked like the yellow and blue leathers of Josh Hill. It's out of this race, but it is going to be 50 points, a double point victory for James Shaw. He takes the glory here at Oulton Park, his home round. 2nd place in the background, who's it going to go to? It is going to be David Brooke, and Adam Clark takes 3rd. He pinches 3rd from Don Gilbert right on the final lap. So decent effort there for Adam. Gilbert will be upset that he's not managed to get himself the double points on the podium. Paul Westerdale takes 5th place, number 94, ahead of Ryan Warren in 6th. And there is a very happy championship leader. Centre of your picture, James Shaw. Championship points heading into Rockingham. Huge advantage now, a 145-point lead for Shaw.
The position goes to Adam Clark. A good podium win for you there. We've seen you a couple of times on the podium, and you're new to this class, but you're definitely running at the front.
Yeah, it's a really good class, really competitive, really close. Had an excellent race. Got a really good start, first into first turn, but just sort of drop back. So battling for a podium. Really happy with the result. Yeah, thank you very much.
Excellent. Any sponsors to thank?
Yeah, mainly Dave Ogden, who's sorted my suspension out this weekend and this week while I've been testing. Dave Terrence from Norrington Tyres, he's lent me his van because my car broke down to pull my trailer, so a massive thank you to him. All my friends and family, my girlfriend, everybody who's helped out, thank you.
Well done, Adam.
Thank you.
Second position, David Brook. That was a close battle there between you and Adam.
Yeah, tried coming up inside of me into a chicane, just left him enough room, I think, but it's as good as a win for me. Bike were some improvements I want to make for the second race, see if I can improve my times. My times my best time at least wasn't miles off where I want to be, so make a couple of changes and see if it helps.
Definitely, we'll hope to see you back here in the second race. Any sponsors to thank?
Everyone on my levers, Napoleon's Casino Bradford, new helmet sponsor, it's a big help, and everyone who helps out.
Winner James Shaw, you took 4 out of 4 at Cadwell, and another win for you here. You're pushing the points up in the championship.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I'm just glad that the rain stayed off. I was expecting it to be a wet race, but fingers crossed it just stays off all day.
Well, there was a few battles behind you as well. Did that help you get a good lead, do you think?
Yeah, it always helps only when people are battling, and I've got a clear track in front of me. So
well, maybe another win for the next race then. Any sponsors to thank?
Mark and Tom from GNS Racing, just all my family and everybody who helps me.
Don't go away, 1 race down, 3 still to go. Coming up after the break, the JHS Racing Super Twins and Formula 400s. Welcome back to Oulton Park. It's time for the JHS Racing Super Twins and Formula 400s, a class with 4 championships in 1, but we're going to concentrate on the main race overall. David Allingham there, well, he is closing in on the championship lead. He's only a few points behind Daniel Freer. Lewis Rollo looking full of concentration there, head down on the tank. There is your series leader, Daniel Freer. This is a double points race though. Aprilia 450s eligible for this event. You can see the blue and yellow Kawasaki 650 there of Daniel Freer, championship leader on the front row. Formula 400s there on the second row. Also to look out for in the Formula 400 Championship, Aussie Mady, Sam Smith, Joe Sheldon Shaw away from the line we go. Look out for Dave Butler, also a rider number 91, who always, there he is, just on the outside, always gets away well and fights out front. We've seen some cracking races in this class so far in 2013, but the man on form is the man that leads on the white and red Bemore Aprilia, David Allingham. He's taking some stopping at the moment, not just in this class, but also in his own Aprilia 450 class. There's number 48, Reese Hutchinson. Reese, who's having a decent weekend here at Oulton. Up the inside, though, and taking the lead, it looked like Daniel Freer got an advantage as they just tipped into Island Bend. There's Tom Neve making some progress through the field as well. Tom out there on a mini-twin. But as we exit Shell Oils, it is Daniel Freer, the championship leader, that leads from second place in the championship, David Allingham. Lewis Rollo looks dangerous in third place, number 8. There's Reese Hutchinson once more, just trying to go up the inside of number 70, Tom Neve. Nice to see Tony Rainford back out, racing with us here. The rider from Birkenhead on the Rock Solid Security Kawasaki 650. Always nice to see Tony back out there. This, of course, is local race circuit. But Dan Freer it is that leads from the Irishman, David Allingham, who is not only looking to win the 450 championship, and at the moment it's looking like that's mission accomplished already, and then he wants to win this one as well, the 650 Open. He's currently 4 points behind Daniel Freer. This is a double points race, so 50 to the winner, 40 for second, 32 for third, and so on. And at the moment it's between Freer, Allingham and Rollo for that 50 points. Rollo fresh, full of confidence after an excellent Cadwell Park. He picked up a win there, so you can't count him out. 4th place, lonely race at the moment for Ross Twyman. Then it's Dave Butler and Ben Luxton. There's Reese Hutchinson again. In fact, well, poor old Dave. Dave Butler, who is usually the leading mini-twin. He's leading the mini-twins championship. It's just come up on a screen. 10-second jump start penalty for Dave. There he is, just going through your picture. He's got a decent advantage over the rest of the mini-twins, though. So there is a chance, if he really keeps it pinned, that he might still be able to win the mini-twin race. But as it stands, as we see a lack of adhesion flag in the background there, as it stands, Dan the Man Taylor. Dan is number 26, leads the mini-twins race. And in the 400s, And it's Ozzy Mady and Sam Smith embroiled in an excellent Kawasaki 400 battle. There's Alex Baker, number 22, on the Red Blade Racing Aprilia 450, a rider from Ormskirk, who's had a decent season so far, but there's no change at the front. Freer, Allingham and Rollo. Then Ross Twyman, that's Ben Luxton having a look up the inside of Dave Butler, and then Louis Dawson, number 34. Louis from Bridgnorth on the Ducati Wolverhampton Aprilia 450. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but I know what it means. Louis Dawson, whose family get the leaf blower out before each event. Whatever garage they're staying in, the leaf blower's out, making sure that the garage is absolutely spotless before any bikes are wheeled in. Quite an amusing scene, but it's the same scene at the start of each round. Number 22, Alex Baker there, just going through Lodge Corner at the moment in the top 10. Keenan Armstrong, another rider who's coming on well in the last few rounds, full of confidence. Keenan from Doncaster on the in-competition Aprilia 450. He's got the bright yellow helmet. He's also on the Aprilia, you'll see him a bit further back. But at the front, despite there not being a change for the lead, you wouldn't count David Allingham or Lewis Rollo out of a win just yet. Daniel Freer, the race leader, has had his work cut out so far in 2013, having to deal with these riders. We'll go into Shell Oils, and on exit, David Allingham's got some decent drive there. The white fairings on his Aprilia for this JHS Racing Super Twins race, and Lewis Rollo just in third there, the reigning Aprilia Super Team champion. Lewis from Gifford in Scotland. Down into Hizzy chicane. Here comes Dan. Dan, who was racing regularly at the sharp end of the Superstock 600 at British Championship level a few years back. And he's got some other talent to fight with here. Just saw a quick glimpse of Taylor going through and George Stanley, and got Ozzy Mady there, but Ozzy at the moment is behind Sam Smith. Got other Kawasaki's out there as well, Tony Rainford, and also keep an eye out for Joe Sheldon Shaw and Chris Green. Down into Lodge Corner, and look at the change at the front. Daniel Freer has fallen back to third place now, so Allingham is now leading the race. In fact, he's not as... Yes, he is. Allingham leads. Lewis Rollo second. Daniel Freer in third. Rollo, though, up the inside into Old Hall Corner. And Freer tried to follow, but realised late on that he might just wipe out David Allingham. But they all stay upright. Down and through to Cascades we go. David Allingham has the inside line, but no. Lewis Rollo closes the door. Lewis Rollo really has had the bit between his teeth in the last couple of rounds. When he's full of confidence, he is so sharp on the bike. Allingham has won so many races, though, recently. I think he'd fancy his own chances of winning this one. No matter what happens, he seems to come out smelling of roses, David Allingham, at the moment. And Daniel Freer, well, he just wants to get himself across that finish line and beat these pesky 450s up ahead of him. There he is, just struggling in the last couple of laps, maybe falling away from the two 450s. He'll have plenty of opportunities to try and close back up on them, and one is just coming up here. As they get over the hill, he can use all the power of that Kawasaki, and this really does bunch up all the riders, and David Allingham has to sit up. He almost loses the front end. The front end wobble, he's forced to sit up. He's keeping an eye over to the right because he knows that if he rejoins just behind them, he won't have an advantage and he won't be docked any time as Ben Luxton goes through ahead of Alex Baker and Louis Dawson. So easy to do that because you're coming over the hill flat out. If you just miss your braking point, the run-off road down into Hizzy's is inviting. They're coming up to laps and traffic here, and oh, Lewis Rollo and Daniel Freer. Well, that's an interesting move. Freer had the inside line. Lewis Rollo went to close in, then close the door. Lewis Rollo is furious, and guess what? That has left David Allingham to go and win this race and lead the championship. Lewis Rollo can't believe it. Allingham can't believe his luck. Well, well, well. What happened there into the final corner? I'm not even going to point any fingers, but David Allingham wins by 23 seconds ahead of Ben Luxton. Alex Baker takes third, so Luxton and Baker on the podium. They will be delighted. It's at the expense of Rollo and Freer. Mini Twins podium, it's a win for Dave Butler ahead of Dan Taylor and Tom Neve. And in the Formula 400s, Ozzy Mady wins against Sam Smith and Chris Green. Championship points then heading into Rockingham. Allingham has the advantage now ahead of Freer. Then it's Twyman third, Baker, Luxton, Lewis Rollo sixth.
Winner of the Formula 400s, yet again, Aussie Mady. An excellent weekend for you here, double win, but also 9 wins on the trot. An excellent result for you.
Yeah, it's been a really good weekend so far. I mean, obviously the first race, we sort of didn't inherit a win, but it was made a lot easier when Sam dropped out. But that race was just, I pushed every lap. I couldn't have gone any faster than that. And luckily we got Sam on the last lap round Island Bend, so yeah, it was a good race.
Definitely. Any sponsors to thank?
Yeah, my parents, all my friends and family who support me and cheer me on, encourage me. Andy Grimshaw of AGL Motorsports and Steve Christie of Appetites.
Well done, Aussie. Thank you. And winner of the mini twins, Dave Butler. A good race for you there, and considering you crashed out in the first race, that was quite unfortunate, but you're back on the podium now.
Yeah, well, I didn't crash out in the first race, so it quite gave me a bit of trouble, so I was leading it and dropped back, nursed it around for a second, but a bit of a comeback there, yeah, so happy with that. It was hard going, it was close to the finish there between me and Dan, so good race.
A good race. Any sponsors to thank?
Yeah, my Uncle Des, Quinn Agri Services, Spears Enterprises, Dennis Allay Lynch, and the Clifford family. They look after me all weekend, so thanks to them.
Well done, thank you. And the winner, Dave Allingham. What a race for you there. Just talk us through the last few laps. That was an exciting race.
I don't know where to start. We just started battling. Dan kept passing. I led a couple of laps, and then come on to the last lap, and Lewis passed me over the line. I actually thought I had a gap, to be honest, because I thought I had a real good drive in one of the corners. So I've maybe got a split second out in front of him, and then Lewis came by. I tried passing back, and I actually came back and under one of the corners at the second chicane, Knickerbrook, and I had to run on because I couldn't make a corner. So I came back out in third place. Didn't give up, just kept going, and managed to get on the back of them again. Got in the brakes early. Lewis tapped down and just hit Dan, and the two of them went straight on. So it just left me to get the ones. I was left to pick up the pieces.
Well, you picked up a trophy. Any sponsors to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Beemore, EHA Group, my mum for coming, David, Gail, Laura, Lauren, in competition, Silkline, Redstone, if I really made them, John Gibbons as well, everybody, Myra, everybody, thank you very much this weekend. I'm just loving it.
Well done, Dave.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's no stopping Dave at the moment. Join us again after the break. It's the RST Clothing Golden Era Superbikes. Welcome back to Oulton Park. It's time for the RST Clothing Golden Era Superbikes, and within this class we also have the Sparklight Racing Golden Era Supersport. There is that beautiful RC45 being ridden by the hero that is Ian Simpson, of course, the former TT winner, British Superbike champion, etc. Ian, who was victorious at Cadwell Park by a mile and is doing the same again so far in qualifying here. Nice to see John Dieterman second on the grid on that self-made Ducati 860. Richard Blunt, leader of the championship, third on the grid, and Chris Norris, number 22, who certainly after Cadwell you have to look at as a championship rival. Richard has gone back onto the Kawasaki. You can see there, third on the grid, the white and black leathers on his white, green and blue Kawasaki. Further back, keep an eye out for Super Sport competitors. Adam Sheriff, 911, Lee Longdon, number 21, Chris Spink, number 42. This is the man that's on pole, and he gets a good start away from the line. It looked like an even better start from Richard Blunt, but we'll have to wait and see. It was Norris, in fact, that looked to get a really good start, but around the outside, it is Simpson that has the advantage on the RC45. We were asked whether or not Ian Simpson would be competing in the rest of the championship. A number of the riders in this championship have asked me, is Ian Simpson kicking about for much longer? Because they're getting a beating off him. You know, okay, he's got a good bike and he is a former champion, but he's quite far back in the championship, so even if he was to stay in it, it would take a few rounds before he was able to get a championship lead. So you guys, you've got a head start. It's time to try and cut the deficit, shall we say. At the moment, doesn't look like anyone's going to stop Simpson. He's a good target. Look at him, through already. Norris in second, Blunt third, Dieterman in fourth. Further back there is Chris Spink. With the old JPS Norton colours going on there on the Honda. Simpson has the advantage already. There's Dieterman, number 46. It's nice to have Greg Lewis back out on circuit. Greg, a regular GP1 rider a few years back, and he's just been ridden around the outside of there. Greg from Warrington on the GL Racing Yamaha. And Rob Wilson has just gone through. Rob, who's second in the championship overall, didn't have much fun out at Cadwell Park and needs to regroup. And that bike of Rob's isn't slow either. He's on the C-Tech electrical Kawasaki 750, and I believe that's a former full works Kawasaki superbike. So both Ian Simpson, your race leader, and Rob Wilson got some trick bits of kit out there. And it is great to see, and hopefully we'll have some more additions to this class as the season goes on. But Ian Simpson is roaring away, and well, he's been knocking on the door of a lap record. Sean Goldsmith out there having some decent fun. There's Nick Williamson, number 6. Nick from Southampton on the RBM Honda SP1. Sean Goldsmith. In fact, Sean, I'll give Sean a pat on the back now and congratulations, because that's the first time he's ever completed more than a lap around Oulton Park. He didn't even know what Lodge Corner looked like before this weekend, because in every race he's ever had, he's fallen at the first turn, and that's been the end of the weekend. So well done, Sean. At least you know what Lodge looks like now. That there is number 13, Richard Blunt, just ahead of Lee Longdon, and Lee Longdon's on the Ducati 748, so he's down on power. But he is mixing it up with the ZX7 just ahead of him. Still beautiful bikes, those old 748s. It's great to see them out there. There's John Dieterman on the self-made Ducati 860, just ahead of the Kawasaki of Rob Wilson. John Dieterman from Preston. So it's good to see. Further back, Adam Sheriff is still in the mix. He's having a decent battle with Nick Williamson. Ryan Strafford, of course, another rider in the super sport category, as we see number 63 just going through there. It's Chris Dixon on the Suzuki, Battleship Grey Suzuki. And so all sorts of mixtures of machinery going through the grid. I will send a message of get well soon to Ted Hurst, number 10. Ted from my neck of the woods, usually racing in this class, but he had quite a nasty crash on the practice day here at Oulton yesterday, and the bike was a bit of a mess. So get well soon, Ted. I understand that he's going to be passing the racing duties on to Jamie Hitter for the next round, so we'll keep an eye out for Jamie at Rockingham. Into turn 1 though, that's Rob Wilson, Richard Blunt, Chris Norris, John Dieterman and Lee Longdon. Lee Longdon leading the super sport Sparklight Racing category at the moment, but Ian Simpson, well, a 146.525 for Ian. And that beats Lee Revely's, the defending champion, lap record of 47.4 by nearly a second. Also, get well soon to Lee Revely, still at home, still not in the championship due to that nerve problem. Not heard from him for a while, so hopefully we'll catch up with him at Rockingham, and then he can give us his insight as to who he thinks might just win this championship. Blunt leads overall. Number 13, you can see, leads the championship coming into this event. This is a double points race, much like the others you've seen so far. But if Ian Simpson turns up at every race and he continues to do what he's doing, it won't be long before the former champion has another championship to his name. The Scotsman absolutely flying out front. There is Rob Wilson taking a bit of a wide line, and Blunt must have used the escape road there into his chicane, so he's lost out on a couple of places. He's got a bit more work to do. 161, that's the former Thundersport 500 champion there, Mark Evans. Nice to see Mark out there. And just saw a quick peek of the Aprilia Melee of Andy Chalice as well. There is 57, Rob Wilson. This is the battle for second, ahead of Chris Norris, Dieterman and Richard Blunt. Richard Blunt has got the quicker lap time of these guys. In fact, no, I apologise. Chris Norris has just posted a 148.8. He's still a couple of seconds slower a lap than Ian Simpson, but it's still pretty good. There's Mick Everett, number 5, former Street Fighter rider. He's up in the points at the moment. He's having a decent battle with Don Plain and Rob Smith. Nice to have Mick out there. This battle continues between Rob Wilson. We said Chris Norris had a faster lap And that's why it looked like he was then about to make a move for maybe second place, but no, in fact, he's just dropped into the clutches there a little of John Dieterman. Ian Simpson is about 14, 15 seconds ahead of this group at the moment as they break down into his chicane. The group that you're looking at are at the moment the group that are fighting for first overall in the championship. Rob Wilson, it is with the advantage ahead of Chris Norris and John Dieterman, and then Richard Blunt. Here we go, then breaking down into Lodge. Final turn here at Oulton Park. It'll have been a while since Ian will have raced around Oulton Park, but he's doing a sterling job so far. They're just coming up on some traffic, the battle for second place, and Chris Norris has got himself ahead of Rob Wilson now. Richard Blunt, having made that error and gone through the slip road, has just moved ahead of John Dieterman. Last lap flag is out. Simpson well on his way to victory. He's already through Cascades. And here he is coming around Island Bend and then into Shell Oils. He could probably roll off now and have quite an easy cruise home. It's going to be another victory for him. He took 4 out of 4 at Cadwell Park, and he's going to make it 5 out of 5 here. But this one will mean a bit more because it's double points. He came into this weekend with 100, and that 50 that he's about to get will push him into the top 6. So another result like this in race 2, which will be you'll be able to view on the Thundersport iPlayer, www.thundersportgb.com, and he could find himself well up in the championship. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll give you the championship standings after this race. Look at these guys, 3 abreast down into Hizzies. Rob Wilson chattering the front end, late on the brakes, but he manages to get it tipped in ahead of Blunt, and Norris has lost out to Dieterman now. So Norris, having been up into second place at the moment, he's looking like he might not even make it onto the podium. He's been bumped down to 5th place. John Dieterman goes up into 4th. While they continue to battle, Simpson's already through Lodge Corner. He'll go over Deers Leap, and Simpson wins on the RC45. Top win once more for him. He is definitely going to threaten for this championship in a couple of rounds' time. In second place, though, in the background, who is going to get it? It's between Wilson, Blunt, Dieterman and Norris. And they come into the final turn now, and it doesn't look like Norris is going to get anything for all of his efforts. In fact, it's going to be close between Wilson and Blunt. Wilson gets it, and that's a crucial 40 points for Rob Wilson. He gets the advantage over championship leader Richard Blunt. John Dieterman takes 4th, and Chris Norris in 5th overall. Nick Williamson went across the line in 6th. That's in the Golden Era Superbikes. But in the Golden Era Supersport category, which will be coming up in a minute, as we just see Ian Simpson happy on the podium with Wilson and Blunt. In the Supersport, Lee Longdon wins from Chris Spink, Adam Sheriff, Ryan Strafford, Martin Bloomfield and Ricky Owen. There he is, Lee Longdon, pointing the #1. He is the championship leader. And let's have a look at those standings as we head into Rockingham. Blunt it is that leads from Rob Wilson, Chris Norris in 3rd. Simpson climbs up to 4th place ahead of Williamson and Don Plain. In the Supersport, Lee Longdon, healthy advantage he's got now over Sheriff, Strafford, Spink, Nicholson and Owen.
Lee Longdon, another win for you there. It was a really good race and pushes your lead in the championship to nearly over 100 points.
Yeah, that's really good. That's my main aim this weekend. He's just to push hard in the Supersport race, and yeah, he's planning out that way, so brilliant.
Good race. Any sponsors to thank?
Yeah, everyone at Moto Italia for helping me this weekend. Big thanks to my mum, my dad and my brother this weekend as well, and also the lads at work who's coming down to see me this weekend, and thanks for the cake, lads.
Winner of the Superbike race, yet again Ian Simpson. You had a win at Cadwell and now another at Oulton, and also the lap record.
I enjoyed that. The last time I was here was 15 years ago in '98, riding an RC45, so just try to remember all the wee bumps and ripples and stuff. It's changed a bit since then, but not that much.
It's still done you well. You still enjoy it here?
Oh, I loved that. It was good fun. That. I'd just like to thank the boys looking after the bike and helping with it all, because it's the best bike in the race, really. And the boys looking after it have all worked in Grand Prix and BSB and stuff, so they know really how to put a bike together really good. So it's a good bike.
Well done, Ian. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
3 races gone, 1 to go. It's the Adam Boal Trophy coming up after the break. Welcome back to Oulton Park, the final part, and it is the Adam Boal Trophy race. Phil Crowe sits there on pole position. It's an invitational race. You'll see lots of number 80 stickers on all of the bikes. And there is Adam's old bike, Adam, who tragically lost his life in a road accident the day after our Oulton Park meeting last year. Ian Mackman will be racing Adam's bike in his memory. All of the riders looking to get their hands on the winning trophy. As I mentioned, invitational. We've got 600s out there. We've got Golden Era Superbike, so Richard Blunt will be lining up on the grid as well. Some names that you will recognise, some names you may not recognise, but will certainly feature in the race. But the likes of Ingram, you've got to keep an eye on Ingram. He'll start from the back of the grid because he was a late entry, as will Dean Ellison. Matt Late is also out there towards the back of the grid, but at the front, there's no mistaking the fact that Phil Crowe lines up on pole position alongside Ian Mackman. Kyle Wilkes is hot to trot in this one as well. They get away from the line and head down towards turn one, and it's Phil Crowe just that gets the whole shot from Ian Mackman. Ian Mackman not only racing just to win a race, but of course it would be so memorable if he was able to get the win on Adam's actual old Fireblade. Well, I think there'd be some emotional scenes in Parc Fermé afterwards. You can just see there Lee Williams going through, and John Ingram, that's John Ingram, number 56 from the back of the grid. Let me just tell you, 34th on the grid, John Ingram, and he's already, look at that, unbelievable. That's Dale Thomas just behind him, a 600 Superstock rider, and Lee Williams. So Ingram, well, he must be up into the top 15 already. I wonder if Dean Ellison's been able to get the toe. Of course, Dean, brother of James Ellison. James is here to support him. He's down on pit wall at the moment. There's Ben Scranage on the Night Road Racing Ducati. Another rider out there just ahead of Josh Daly. Nice to see Josh out there. Of course, he's racing in BSB this year. He's on the 600. He'll be up against it in speed, but he's racing in memory of Adam. But it's Phil Crowe, trusty Phil, that leads. There's Farragher and Barry Teasdale, and Angelo De Rosa's with us as well, number 157. Nice to have Angelo from Wrexham here on the Olympic Labels Kawasaki. And Angelo's fought for a few GP1 championships in the past. And it is Phil Crowe that leads the 2000 and, let me think back, 10 GP1 champion with Thundersport GP. He's got a nice, healthy lead here down into the final turn, onto the start-finish straight ahead of Kyle Wilkes, and that's Ian Mackman in third place. Then in fourth is Farragher, Barry Teasdale, Angelo De Rosa, and that's Kingsley Ruddy, number 29, just getting it a bit out of shape out of the first turn. Dean Ellison's making good progress through the grid. Matt Late is making good progress through the grid. And there is John Ingram up the inside of Kingsley Ruddy, who just runs a bit wide. He's got a Superstock bike, but John Ingram well inside the top 10, having started 34th on the grid. Ingram, the Ram, is charging through like an angry bull, and he's trying to get his hands on that trophy. Of course, John Ingram won another trophy in memory of Robert Fennell earlier on in the season at Donington Park. And this trophy here in memory of Adam, well, we'll see who it goes to. It would be great to see Ian Mackman putting up a fight, of course. He's the rider that's actually on Adam's old bike. I know that Adam's dad is on pit wall. He's on pit board duty, Sean. So he's watching this race with a close eye, hoping that either Ian Mackman or Dean Ellison can make a decent showing. Dean Ellison might have his work cut out, though, because he's a bit further back than John Ingram. And, of course, Dean had about a 4 or 5 year sabbatical from racing altogether. It is his local circuit, but he's going to struggle to win this one at the moment. Phil Crowe has the advantage, although Kyle Wilkes in the last couple of sectors has just closed in on him. Mackman still third, then Farragher, Teasdale, De Rosa, there's Kingsley Ruddy, that's John Ingram just in between them as they come over Deers Leap and across the line. Kyle Wilkes' lap time, not bad at all, 41.4. So that's 3/10 quicker than Phil Crowe on that last lap, so good going from Kyle Wilkes, racing the number 23, the rider from Warsash on the Bournemouth Kawasaki, learning his trade on a 1000cc machine this year. Started out Thundersport, of course, and was a regular Thundersport 500 runner. Last year was so solid on that 600. And you can see, I mean, I don't need to tell you the gaps. You can just see with your own eyes that Phil Crowe is being closed in on now. Kyle Wilkes all over the back of him. Further back, this battle is still going on for 5th place onwards. And John Ingram, in fact, is going to take advantage of that any second now and move through. John Ingram maybe fancies a sniff at the podium. And look at Kyle Wilkes. He's threatening Phil Crowe down into his ease. Does Phil know that he's there? Phil Crowe looks like he's slowing a bit, or is it just the fact that Kyle's going so much quicker? Kyle's lap times are quicker. Ian Mackman's lap time on that last lap at 41.8 was quicker than Phil as well, so Ian Mackman even going quicker. He's in a lonely third at the moment. Further back, there is Sam Thompson, the Superstock 600 rider, up against Richard Blunt, Golden Era Superbike rider. You'll have just seen him in that part just before we went to the break. So it's great to have all of these different entrants from different classes. Joe Barton just going through there as well, the Spartan. And Kyle Wilkes thought about getting his nose just ahead of Phil Crowe there into Lodge Corner. Ian Mackman is getting in to join the party, and as they come across the line to complete another lap, Crowe's lead has been cut significantly. We could have a humdinger on our hands here for the Adam Boal Trophy. I was a bit concerned a couple of laps ago that we might see a disappearing act from Phil, but it looks like we've got race on. And Kyle Wilkes is looking a bit desperate here to get past. Further back, there is number 2, Simon Critchlow, having a battle. Simon on the 1000 Suzuki, having a battle with the 600 Kawasaki of Josh Daly. So all sorts of fights going on mid-pack. This is the battle at the front, though. Phil Crowe, the 2010 GP1 champion, the 2011 runner-up. Last year, an injury-plagued year. This year, he means business. He leads the GP1 championship overall, but Kyle Wilkes almost off the bike. He has a major wobble under power at Shell Oils. That's cost him some time, and now he's falling into the clutches of Ian Mackman. The battle for fourth continues. Look at this group. Unbelievable. There's Angelo De Rosa, the Welsh Italian from Wrexham, going into the chicane. But Kyle Wilkes tries to cut down that lead of Phil Crowe's. And well, he was definitely on the tail of Phil and lapping well, but that would have certainly worried him a bit, that moment that he just had through Shell Oils. Josh Daly's got ahead of Critchlow, and that there is number 42. That's Dean Ellison, who's now made his way through from the back of the grid and is closing. He's gone past Dale Thomas, so good effort there from Dean Ellison. Matt Late is also up into the top 10. Coming into Lodge Corner, though, it's Crowe from Wilkes, and Ian Mackman really closing in third place there. Looking like a good race. Is still a long way to go, but what's happening here? Phil Crowe's pulling into pit lane. Phil Crowe's out of the race. What's happened? A mechanical failure? I'm not sure. He looks okay. Last lap flag is out then, and it's now down to 2. And Ian Mackman, you know, could win this. He's out there on Adam Boyle's race, bike. What a story that would be if Ian could get himself the win. But Kyle Wilkes also is in need of a bit of a confidence boost and is a great young rider. We've got these two battling it out then for the first time, the Adam Boyle Trophy race. We've got them going into Shell Oils now, and Ian Mackman is desperate to try and find a way past Kyle Wilkes. He's got to get on the power and close up. He needs to carry all the momentum now into Falston chicane. Let's see how he gets on. Wilkes, Mackman. Wilkes has just got enough of an advantage on the exit there not to be bothered down into Hizzy's chicane, I fancy. And as they come down into Hizzy's, Kyle Wilkes is putting everything into this final lap. He wants the win. He wants to take the Adam Boyle Trophy. And it looks like he's got it. I think Ian Mackman's given up now. He's done so well to close up that gap. There is number 21, Chris Barnes. He's embroiled in a battle there with 42. That's Dean Ellison, who's done well from the back of the grid. John Ingram, by the way, we've not seen him in the last couple of laps, but he has got himself up to 3rd ahead of Barry Teasdale. So Ingram from 34th on the grid is on for a podium. There's Matt Late, number 100, currently in the top 10. He also started from way back in the field, so a confidence-boosting result for Matt. But who's going to win this one? It looks like it's going to be Wilkes, but Ian Mackman's not giving up just yet. As they come down into Lodge Corner, it's going to take a mistake from Wilkes now, but there's no sign of a mistake from the rider on the Bournemouth Kawasaki. They come over Deers Leap, and what a race it's been in Adam's memory. It is the win for Kyle Wilkes. Well, we can't quite see it because we're looking at Dave waving the checker flag. Wilkes does win it. Ian Mackman, a really solid performance there from Ian, trying to get the win in Adam's memory. 3rd place does go to Ingram. Barry Teasdale, excellent performance from Barry. He finishes 4th ahead of Kingsley Ruddy. Joe Farragher takes 6th. And then Barnes is 7th, Dean Ellison 8th, Matt Late 9th, and Simon Critchlow 10th. Well, James Ellison presents the trophy to the winner, Kyle Wilkes, and Adam would have been very proud to watch that race.
The position goes to John Ingram. A good race for you there, starting from the back, and you came third. That's brilliant.
Yeah, we went out in that race trying to put a bit of confidence back in. I seem to have lost a bit of feel since I've been to the TT, and I can't put my finger on what it is. So we just, use that race as a good testing session, trying to get the confidence back. Well done to the two lads here on the podium. But good race, and we'll look forward to one this afternoon.
Excellent. Any sponsors to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank the Pallet Brothers for this meeting, because they've done the entries, and all the helpers that helped me to get to the TT this year, because that was our pinnacle for this year.
Second position, Ian Mackman. A very close race there up the front, but you must be happy with second on board Adam Boal's bike.
Yeah, well, yeah, I must admit, I'm absolutely gutted. I couldn't win it, to be honest with you. There's a lot of his sort of family and friends and everything that turned out today, and I absolutely did my best, to be honest. I sort of managed to catch up with Carl there, and I was sort of pushing him hard. He made a few mistakes, and then I made my own mistake on the last lap, but never mind, I'm gutted I couldn't win it for him. But no, really pleased, and really thanks to Sean Boal for letting me ride the bike. It was a real privilege.
First position, Kyle Wilkes. I know how much you wanted to win that race. You must be very proud with those two trophies in your hand.
Yeah, it's really special to win a trophy race, something I've always wanted to do. And yeah, it's brilliant to have it. I mean, Ian pushed me all the way to the end. I don't know what happened to Crowley, but he was riding really well. Thought I could possibly catch him, but yeah, they all did a really good job, but just managed to pip him in the end, so it's good.
It was a tough grid, so you did well to come out on top.
Yeah, thanks. It was tough. There's some really good riders out there. Obviously, it's an open grid, so there was just people from every class. Yeah, it was really tough, but it was good. Enjoyed it.
Any sponsors to thank?
Yeah, obviously Bournemouth Kawasaki, Glenside Finance, ECS as well, and obviously my family that are here and helping me out, so it's brilliant. And Lee, my mechanic, mustn't forget him. I always forget him, so thanks to Lee.
Well done, Carl. Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining us here at Oulton Park. That's it from myself and Grace Webb. We will see you for the next round of Thundersport Plus at Rockingham.